All right, welcome to a very special edition of the Resupply with only me, Than, as the host and moderator because neither DK nor Stevo had the balls to come to West Coast in Utah. No, that's entirely not true whatsoever. Stevo decided against getting a last-minute plane ticket from New Zealand to the States. Probably a wiser idea. And DK, in his defense, did just buy a house. So I guess I can forgive him just this once for not coming to a tournament. So we are sitting here with a couple of our very surprise guests for this tournament. Normally West Coast, or both West Coast and East Coast tournaments are intended as smaller regional gatherings, and maybe we get a team from across the country. In a West Coast, maybe an East Coast team shows up, East Coast, maybe a West Coast team shows up. That's relatively normal. This time, we had a team decide, hey, we're German, we're going to do something really surprising, and we're going to show up at this very small regional tournament because we like Laser Force, and this sounds like a really, really cool idea to do. So I am sitting here with two of the German players now. You guys want to introduce yourselves to the world?
Yes, hello, my name is Sebastian, player name TheSocialPotwal. I'm from Darmstadt, player of Team Ghost, and flow with the Hyper Hobbits here to the St. George tournament.
Yeah, I'm Andreas, player named XenOn from the Hyper Hobbits. We also decided, okay, Marcus wanted to go to the East Coast tournament, so I thought, well, nice idea, so we mixed up with some nice players from Darmstadt to come here with a full German team.
Yeah, I remember talking to Marcus before you guys suddenly had a team, and he had said, "Oh, hey, I think I'm going to come." It's like, okay, that's cool. And then suddenly it was like, "Oh, hey, we have an entire team because you guys got some completely ridiculous round trip airfare to Vegas." Like, so how much were your plane tickets?
So plane tickets from Germany to Las Vegas and back again were nearly $315. So really cheap. We got lucky. We got on Google Flights. We compared a few flights, and after a few days, we saw this amazing price there, and we said, okay, we have to book this now. I don't know how long this price will be available for us. So indeed, one day after we booked all the tickets, and like 10 days after this, it rises up to $700. So we always look on the tickets. They are separated with the fees, taxes, and just the really amount of transporting is $1. The others are just taxes and other where you have to pay when you cross countries by plane, whatever.
Yep. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I mean those flash sales. I mean they happen, and yeah, they're usually anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. And if you don't catch it in that window, it goes away. I've had instances like that when I bought tickets to go to Australia and or New Zealand, where it's like, oh hey, the tickets are normally $1,500, and you see a sale where it's like $900. You're like, yep, I'm gonna jump on that. Yeah. So no, super happy that it all kind of worked out. That this flash sale happened right kind of as you guys were thinking, do we want to do this? Do we not want to do this? I have to imagine getting a ticket for less than half the normal price probably was a definite positive spur to make the trip.
Also, we looked up like the money, okay, how it's gonna be expensive, and we thought, okay, maybe the plane tickets cost 600, 700, maybe thousands, and so yeah, we got much money to let down in the casino for this.
Well, I mean, really, the big thing's like, hey, it's a trip to Vegas that laser tag on the side. Really, we understand where we rank in the whole process. It's a Vegas vacation with some laser tag.
Yeah, it's for us really was laser tag, but of course we wouldn't have come here if it was somewhere nothing is. This is a bit. For me, it's a bit of a problem with the East Coast next year because Syracuse is so far away from New York. And the tickets to New York are okay. So also we had a nice airfare coming here.
Yep.
But this was not the only reason we came. We all knew
Yeah.
the flights would cost $500-$600, but this was also okay for us. We were very lucky, as Sebastian said.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can spend more money in the casino.
Well, I'm sure the Vegas casinos will appreciate you guys
Yes, of course.
losing some money there.
Oh no!
But right now, if we compare to us, all we did instead profit. I lost a bit. She was Sarah was really much winning, like $200-$300. Others like is balance to zero. All compared together, we did a few bucks.
Hey, that's always a super positive thing. So let's start with you guys as players in Germany and what the German scene kind of looks like. You know, pretty much the extent of most of our listenership's knowledge about Germany is, you know, it's a country in Europe. Most of them know that. We hope. I'm not always so sure about the American players.
Europe, Africa, Asia,
Yeah,
maybe.
you know, American players, the public education system does sometimes let us down a lot. You know, we know that you guys that there are a ton of laser forces in Germany.
We got 80 sites there, roundabout.
That's just so ridiculous in a country that, I mean, it's not necessarily a small country, but it's not exactly a huge country either.
In Europe, we are one of by the area. It's not the biggest, but it's also not the smallest. But we got many people there, so many people are living. There are some places we are really like high density living there.
Good income also.
Good income also, yeah. So in all cities there are laser tech sites and really like 80 roundabout.
So with those sites, you know, what does the German scene, you know, look like right now? I mean, do a lot of the centers, you know, have their own teams? Is there any inter-center play? You know, what, and if there is, I mean, we know it wasn't SM5 as the game to play between centers. So when you do play games or have matches between sites, you know, what is the game that gets played?
So maybe I can start because my part is the little
Yes.
the non-professional part. In Germany, there we mostly have zone laser.
Okay.
It's getting bigger and bigger in Germany because there's some sort of pretty good organized league playing, and also in Europe there are some European tournaments also on zone laser. We had one laser force international laser force tournament this year in Prague.
Okay. Yep.
But this, well, so to say, it wasn't really professional. There were Sebastian, I don't know, 8 teams
There
in the
were
arena.
like that's not a special mode. It was the standard public mode
Okay.
with rapid fire all level 1, and there were 8 teams in the arena for 40 members. So in the whole arena, 32 players played at the same time.
So basically, it was a 4-team game.
No,
with
8
play-
team game with 4 players.
18
game with 4 players.
Gotcha.
And in standard mode, so it wasn't more running completely through the arena, watching that you don't get ran to the enemies in the arms. But it's not the professional The professional tournaments, like the professional game modes, they are more in zone and they're coming to Laser Force, but not in SM5. They got a special LFL mode I can tell about you later.
Yeah. So it's we have lots of laser force sites, but there's a big problem here in the US. You say, oh, there's a tournament 500 miles away. Well, let's go. It's no problem. It's right next to me. But in Germany, lots of the players say, whoa, 100 miles, that's very far. Oh, I don't know if I will travel there. So this is pretty complicated. So my team, the Hyperhobbits, we drive a lot because in our arenas there's nearly no tournaments. Sometimes in Darmstadt it's about 150 miles
Yeah, it's kind of
away.
2 hours driving.
2 hours driving. So this is nearly the nearest tournaments in
Yes.
our area. So we drive through Germany to the tournaments. But yes, it's not always a standard mode. So it's every arena plays on himself. They do their own rules. They do their own what they want. Some have teams, but it's often the problem. The arena, they get their money from the children's birthdays most time. I think it's the same here in the US.
Well, and that's definitely something that is very much standard across all systems, basically the entire laser tag industry as a whole. The majority of the money always comes from your parties and your that 8 to 14-year-old birthday party range. That is typically the bread and butter of any site. So the fact that it's like that in Germany as well is it's just okay. Just the appeal of laser tag is pretty much the same the world over as far as that goes.
Yeah. So I started my laser tag career 4 years ago with the team Ghost in Darmstadt. We were before in a different system. It's called Laser Venture. It was a really shitty system. It's nothing worked. You can't stand up under a lightning LED or a neon light, and you can't get shot anymore. So it was really bullshit. Like invented 1990 and didn't even. It not worked out, and so after 2 years we changed the system, and in these 2 years we were on the GLL, the German Laser Tag League. The problem at this league was there are a few good things, like there was one guy who just cared about this league, one guy who just 40 hours in a week just planned it, righted the teams, managed the arenas that we can get there. The other side was there was a company, just one company behind this league, and as our arena as our site said, we don't play at Venture anymore, change to Force. There was some financial interesting between our sites and the sites where the Laser Venture worked. So there were a few things we got, like not equal. The referees were not good to us, I think so. And so after the system we switched to Laser Force. The problem was there was any tournaments, no league in Laser Force. So our site manager started up the LFL, the Laser Force League, 2 years ago, I think. Yes, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2.5 roundabout, with a special LFL mode. It's like the public mode, but with 5 shots per second, so very fast. You got unlimited lives, unlimited shots, and
what's the deactivation time?
5 seconds.
Okay, so 5 second deactivation, 5 shots per second.
It's really fast moving, but it's like you don't have to work in the whole team together. In Space Marines, you always have to work in a team. In LFL, like you start at one base, and it's possible that you see your mate in the starting base the last time of the whole of the match. So the others say, okay, I get at this side to get get the obstacle there and hit the enemies there, and okay, I'm going to get this place, this area to be mine, and you just play on your own arenas, your own areas in the arenas, and it's like I said, you don't really have to work together, just in your kind of spots together with your mate, but like I said, it's possible that you don't see even your mate the whole game because he's playing at the other side there.
Which is the complete opposite of Space Marines 5,
exactly.
Where you need to have that pretty constant communication with your teammates,
and with all of them,
you need to be seeing everybody, and you need to be knowing what everybody is doing and doing all the things. So now I understand that when you guys came over here, you guys did not exactly have a lot of Space Marines 5 games between you.
Yes, I have like around about 120 Space Marines game overall, with public people, whatever. So there weren't that much Space Marines games for me, either for the other players, because I try to get a bit to the Space Marines mode in Germany, but the problem is many people are resistant to other game modes. As we changed the system from Laser Ranger to Force, my team always said, no, we want to get to the old mode. It was a complete different game style with recharging. We don't want to get new things. They are like, oldest is the best and everything that's new is shitty. And it took so many times and practice and training that they accept the new game mode. And even if I take the new game mode for Space Marines, they always be the same. Oh, it's a new mode, and why can't we keep at the old things? And yeah.
There is always that that thing where people kind of fear change a little bit, or they fear not being as good at the new thing
Yes,
as
exactly.
they were
That's
at
the
the old
problem.
thing.
Yeah.
And there are some really, really good teams in the LFL mode, like the teams from Darmstadt.
Yeah.
They're really good. And of course, if they train SM5, maybe if you come to such a tournament, I'm sure for a lot of German players, also for some of us, it's not really a happy tournament. We lose every game, we get smashed down. And I think for some players, this is near the Armageddon. They're one of the best players in their old mode. Now they come to SM5
and they get wrecked.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, to that end, I mean, obviously, like every single person here, and a bunch of people that didn't, couldn't attend for other reasons. Like there is so much respect within the wider Laser Force community for you guys just kind of basically sacking up and going, hey, we're gonna do this thing and we're just gonna have fun with it.
Yeah.
So, we and I know that we have said this throughout the week. From the first day that you guys got here and started, playing under a new rule set and kind of a new game at the same time. Because since you guys said you don't get a lot of SM5 in Germany,
Yes,
you're
exactly.
basically trying to get the game in your head and get a totally different rule set into your head.
Exactly.
totally different arenas.
Yeah.
And it's also
and
a
a
big
totally
problem for
totally
us.
different arena also. The quality of your guys' play from day one to today it's been such an exponential level of growth and improvement. And while we know that the scoreboard doesn't always reflect the quality of the game that's been played. You can have a game where the scores look really close, but the game really wasn't. You can have games where it looks like you just got absolutely wrecked, but it was actually a pretty good game. And yeah, just watching you guys communicate better and move better and support each other better over these days has been it's been really fun to watch the improvement. And also because like every single person within the scene remembers when they were a brand new player.
We've all been there.
And and that voice in the background is Brandon, otherwise known as Thunder, because he's too shy to move up closer to my phone to help record this.
He's getting here.
Oh, of course. Now that I've called him out, now he moves closer. But every single one of us kind of knows that pain of either you're one of the best players at your site, and then you go somewhere else and you just get absolutely wrecked.
Yeah, we really didn't think it was that hard, because in Germany we really are at a top level.
Yeah, I would really say in Germany we are the best Space Marines team in Germany, because there are no other Space Marines teams. So they are.
And that leads to some things where like you don't know what you don't know. At
Exactly.
that point,
You can't learn from the best. You just learn from the best people there.
We learn from ourselves.
Yeah, we learn.
And every single one of us has done that, where we've you learn within your site, and you don't always have somebody who kind of knows what they're doing, kind of show up and say, hey, this is how you do this thing.
Yep.
And you self-teach and you think, hey, yeah, we're okay, we're pretty decent. And then you go somewhere to where they've been doing it for a while, and you are used of that notion. I know for myself, the first time that I went to Australia in 1999 was a ridiculous eye-opening experience, because I was one of the top like 3 or 4 players in Sacramento at the time. Keyword there, guys, at the time. I'm definitely not anymore, because I'm old now. And I got my ass handed to me, like left, right, and center. It wasn't even. It was fun in retrospect. You know, looking back on it, it was fun because I learned a lot. But in the moment, it was like, the fuck am I doing here? I'm so fucking terrible. Oh my god. And that, you know, that feels like kind of a common thing when your site's self-taught, and then you go somewhere or have people come to you that have been doing it longer.
Of course.
But we're still happy we did it. We came here. So of course, after the games, we were yelling at each other. We were all angry because some things didn't work. But I really like it that there's still such a good mood in our team. We come from different sides, and still we get ragged, and lots of things don't work like we want. Of course, you can't invent everything in one day. True. We have to train a lot. But still, it's very good team spirit also. Some of us are now really think they're 60 years old, and oh my god, why did we play so much games? We can't play so much games, and we're still pretty young compared.
Our oldest player in Darmstadt, I think he's 48. We got the oldest player there, 48.
Okay.
So there are all a few people who's always see the no bracket at the S, so no problem at the H, and tried. So yeah, we got a few people on Darmstadt with our sports club there. So they are like.
Well, and that is one of the things that you mentioned, the team spirit thing, and it still being strong and positive after the experience.
Yeah.
And that was definitely something that I was noticing as well. Is that, I mean, okay, nobody here speaks German, but
it's better.
But you know, you can kind of tell, you know, certain, you know, how people are talking to each other. You can kind of get an idea of, yeah, somebody's not happy at somebody.
No.
But like there was never a moment where that seemed to carry on for ages. It was like, you know, there was upset, there was some very frank discussion, and then there was, okay, let's fix the thing, let's ask questions, let's get clarification on things. And everybody seemed to be, you know, overall in good spirits with the attitude across everything.
But you have to learn this, like we were before at the as we in the other system, there's a venture on the GLL. There is like a tournament. So the league is every day is a tournament. Like the groups are drawn, and then you have many games at the time, and you have to say, okay, if as a game has problem, you have to talk about it, and then it's over. Because if you take the problems in the next game with you, that's also gonna be a very bad game and crush together. So you have to discuss your problems with your mates after the game, in the resting room, in the wherever, and then you can say whatever you want. You have to shout, but then it have to be line, and it have to be finished if you're out of the resting room.
Boy, I wish more teams would take that approach.
You really have to do
I
this.
think they're the only ones that take that approach.
It seems like it.
But this was really long time to get to this point that you can say, okay, it's finished now. We have to get on the next game. What we have to do better, and then you don't have to start again if you also about this and you did it wrong. Always have to do a clear line when it's a clear line when it's have to be over with discussion and yelling at each other, and then you have to go to the next game. Go fix it. And this really, like we are in a team, 4 years, and it's take a really long time to get at this point.
And I mean that really is a super healthy way to approach thing. As far as, you know, I mean, I'm sure sometimes things do carry over because we're human beings, and sometimes, you know, things just don't get let go when they should. But, you know, carrying that attitude from game to game here definitely seemed to serve you guys really, really well. Now, you know,
It's
Yeah.
just a game ring with some plastic and some flashy lights
Yeah.
through an arena. So, well,
and 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 with it and within the game, like I know that when we were playing you guys, we'd be making jokes during the games with
Yes.
you. Sebastian, you're running in and like I'm attacking like and you stop and it's like, hi Sebastian, how's it going?
Yes.
I see you, and you're kind of standing like, okay.
Yeah.
So just just stuff like that within the games
Yes.
was a lot of fun with you guys as well.
That's really nice here because we are always good with the other teams here. In Germany, it's really sad. We got an other mentality with other teams. So there are teams you really like, but there are really teams you hate to the death. There are teams you really talk the necessary things, play the game, and then walk away.
That sounds that
There are a few.
there's a different spirit.
It's a different spirit here. You got like
Because it's also more competitive for us.
Yes,
right.
It's not that really competitive here. We want to learn a lot, and we also learned a lot here. But it's not that we are forcing to win this game. We must win it. It's so close for the first place. So maybe that's also helpful a bit.
Yeah. There were few games in the Laser Tag League, in the Laser Force League, who were really under bad, who is not ended that good with many discussions, and the operator of the league have to go in there and have to manage the two teams that you get on that you get your don't crush your heads together, whatever, and that's the problem here. I think in Germany that you got some people of it's not always the whole team, but there are always a few people on some teams which making problems, and
So you're basically describing the Laser Force scene as a historical basis. There have been certain sites in
Yes,
the
exactly.
past within Australia and within the States that have just hated each other with a fiery rage. And tournaments when those sites were involved were let's just leave it at interesting, and we'll leave it at that. Now, one of the other big things, obviously, you guys don't get a lot of Space 5, and so this was a lot of learning the game and the maze and everything else. You guys also stepped into a completely different rule set to be kind about it, your muscle memory very much rebelled against for the first couple of days. So how did you guys find moving into this rule set where now instead of being able to snap off shots around corners, you have to have a gun plus one other sensor visible to take a shot? Because really, I didn't see that you guys really had a problem with anything else. It was that one thing, and let's be fair, that's the one thing that everybody has a problem with when they start. Like it definitely increases the barrier to entry on things, and we acknowledge that. But what's your guys' opinions of it now that you've had a few days with it to kind of sink in and work through it?
Well, I'll start with this. Because we don't play in the LFL, so it was a bit easier for us. LFL is a lot of snapping. It's mainly only snapping.
Okay.
Yes.
And so we over the last weeks, we also trained the rule set a bit, but we had no refs or something like that because everyone plays. So it was very hard to watch if did he really show a shoulder? Did he chase? Did he not chase? So we tried to do our best. And of course, also in our own arena, it's much easier. You know when you're when you show the second, and so we had to try a bit. But I'm pretty proud of my whole team. I think we did it well. So also the players from Darmstadt, maybe Sebastian can say.
Yes, like we trained 4 years, never show shoulder by snapping, never. So it was get always the jump, that you get your shoulder ups out of the obstacle with the phaser and or whatever sensor there.
Yeah.
So it was really, really hard, even if you are in fast moving or you have to really have the aggressive gameplay.
Yeah.
There are like nearly not even a second to decide something, and then you are just remember. It's always hard to remember that you have to do it with jumping.
Yep.
Yeah, but like it's really hard because we said 4 years. We did lots of snapping trainings, so just like 30 minutes of the day just standing in an obstacle, shoulders back under obstacle, and then just go with the phaser up and down and try to hit the enemy. And
So when I make the comment of your muscle memory was all screwed up to be able to do this, you're not kidding, because you guys train that to a level that is pretty impressive. So given that little extra bit of knowledge that hey, this is just something that we've trained on, like the results that you guys were getting as far as actually getting your shoulders out. And to be fair, also, this arena is a challenging arena for certain things because of the cutouts, because of how some of the walls are inconsistent with how they're cut out. So this is actually one of the more challenging arenas to do some of this stuff properly, and like we will readily admit that.
Also for the small ones.
yes, like if you would come, we got also kind of this sides, not that big, so the sides were the same, and like a bit of sneaky mazes. So I played in a few games before there. But if you would come to Germany, to Darmstadt, you will get like a culture shock, because this is so different. Yep. You don't get any mazes. No obstacle is longer than 2 meters. So you got always one obstacle to obstacle, because that's like a complete other arena there. And I would really love to see how you would play there, but you will step inside us. Oh, we can't play here. Because no mazes, nothing, no even ramps upsides, always all flat, one ground.
Ramps is very difficult in Germany because of all safety things. So you got a few arenas with two floors, but mostly it's on the base floor or on the top floor, because the other part is nearly unneeded, or it's pretty difficult to get up and get down because so much safety things. So the two arenas or even the platforms is pretty difficult. There are not much, and I really liked it with the platforms here. That most platforms in Germany are, well, they are there because maybe something is underneath
right?
That couldn't be moved.
Okay.
Couldn't be removed. It's just a platform.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The culture shock thing, going into other mazes. That happens pretty much almost every time you step into a new maze. There's always this moment of, what the fuck am I gonna do here? What? And then you walk around the maze and you kind of try to figure it out, and then you play a game and you decide that what you thought was gonna work doesn't work, and you adapt.
Yeah. Also, the reffing helped us a lot. So we could just stand there in the game, middle of the action, and just watch what are the others doing. Okay, and then and later you can ask them, why are you doing this? Why are you running this way? Or what are you doing here? And the players explained us why they do what we couldn't see. So it helped us a lot seeing the ways the people move, the experienced players move. Like Brandon, what he did, where he stood. We didn't even think of standing this way. We thought, nah, why should I stand here? There's nothing interesting for us. But you saw the people, they just standing there and doing a lot of things. So reffing was pretty good for us. Even learning the rules, how they do it, and also how they play, what are their ways, where they stay.
Well, and that was one of the things that when it turned out that we were only going to have 4 teams at this tournament, on one hand, I was a little disappointed because
me too. I really have to say me too, because we thought, okay, maybe it's 8 teams, 6 teams, whatever. But 4 teams, you got gonna play many games. But on the other side, you're not playing against many other teams. So
and for me it was selfish because it just meant that there were friends that I wasn't gonna see because
yeah.
you know I don't get to see them very often living in Texas.
Yeah.
But the positive aspect to us only having 4 teams is that because we weren't having to crowd games in, it did give us more time to be able to, you know, when you guys had questions, we were a lot more able to take the, you know, 5 or 10 minutes
Yep.
and, you know, do a bit more detailed explanation and kind of, you know, take you guys into the maze sometimes and kind of walk you through, you know, specific things. So we didn't have to let it lie on like a quick 30-second explanation and oh god we have to go because we have to get these games going because there's so many teams, there's so many games we have to get through, we've only got so much time. So while only having 4 teams was slightly disappointing, I think as a potentially as a net positive for you guys for learning.
Yes.
I think it ended up being net positive there.
That's correct. Yeah.
Maybe there could have been a very bad team, so we
Then we would be the last one.
but it's okay this way.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's. I think almost everybody can say that they've had a tournament where they've been the whipping boy.
I think everybody.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know you've been there. I was there. I was one of the people doing the whipping. I had a tournament in Brisbane in 2005 where the team I was on ended up on 0 points after 3 rounds of play, and that was like a 6-team tournament, and we just couldn't do anything. It was terrible. It was definitely one of my. That was not a fun learning 0 point tournament. That was this team is just terrible and I'm not having any fun 0 point tournament. This one, even though you guys did end up on 0 points after the rounds, I hope that there was that there was fun had.
The games
with it.
were definitely fun. So
Yeah.
I don't really have that much game where I would say that did not make fun. We had 2-3 games where complete bullshit. They didn't any fun. There is God said, what the fuck did we do there? But the most games, I said, okay, it's not like the other team win with luck or whatever. We know the other team is better, and then it's okay when you lose. It's always, of course, even more happier for you if you win a game, if you are better, but normally the other team is better than you. But yeah, like I said, we know here, we came here and said, Space Marines is like a full traditional sports for the Americans in laser tag, and it's not for us. So we know that when we came here, we don't have to think about the first or second place, whatever. And our aim was one. Okay, we didn't reach it. So, but yeah,
This was just because of 5th team.
Yeah, the 15th.
Yeah, if there had been a 5th team, you guys would have been okay.
But I really like it that the site also decided, okay, we do this teams because we had the 2nd or the 3rd Space Marines in Germany we did in the August this year, the 3rd in the whole
I think
time.
it was the 2nd.
2nd of not that much in the whole time in Germany. At the first date, we just got 4 teams, and so the site member said, "Okay, no, we can't do this because we don't get so much money for Sunday that we can, that it's finance." Because then we said, "Okay, let's get a new date," and at the new date there came 9 teams. So 9 teams, that was good. But there's also many teams where didn't even play one tournament in Space Marines or even tried this mode for training.
And so they basically showed up to an SM5 tournament with 0 game experience and tried
exactly. So we did a special game.
It was they made it really good.
Yes, I was the organizer for that. I'm also working at the site in Darmstadt, and we did like a special mode. It's called the Densk system, Danish system, where the best people playing against the best teams versus the best teams, and the baddest team with the baddest team. And if you win, you will climb up the ladder and get harder enemies. If you lose, you will climb down and get lower enemies.
Okay.
And that was you played many games versus the same teams, but they were nearly equal on your level. Because their skill caps were so different. Like we had 3 teams, 4 teams who never played even Space Marines before, and one came from England, which played many Space Marines games before there.
Okay.
So but it was like the second in the Space Marines career of Germany, kind of.
Great career.
Great career. We're starting.
Well, I mean, again, we do want to say thank you to you guys very much for making the trip. I mean, it's definitely been super fantastic having you guys here. It's been fantastic watching you guys grow. Seb, you are a complete jerk in the maze, and by jerk I mean you shoot me lots and I hate you a lot. It happens. It's just one of those things. I mean, you guys have anything else that you want to put out to the wider Laser Force community?
I would say if someone of Germany would hear this, take was heißt denn Beispiel? Take advantage. So be more like the American players, because if a referee say it's a penalty, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
In Germany, you really discuss. You have to go to the referee, you discuss 1.5 hours, maybe. Why is this a penalty? This was no penalty, whatever. We really had so much discussions in tournaments or in league plays. We got so many problems with rules because everyone has really go to the center of the last thing, which is really okay. And we get so many problems with referees, with the rules, and here's really chilling. So just okay, penalty, whatever.
I do crazy things like we did, because as I said, a lot of players say, "Oh, 100 miles, I don't go there. It's too far." Try it. You grow when you do other things than you usually do.
Yes.
Of course, it's same as us. We play SM5 within our team, so we thought, whoa, we're really good.
Yeah.
So we did this crazy thing. We took the risk going here, and that's just the only way we could have gone better.
Yeah.
We would have stand on our level for the next 5 years if we didn't do this trip, because it needs some time for the scene to grow in Germany, and I think over the next years we still would have been the best teams. Even the others could train a lot, we still would have been the best. So we did this crazy thing. We went also to Darmstadt to train, because only training in Stuttgart at our site, you get very you know what to do, you know where to go. It's
complacent.
It's all
you get
just
complacent.
some standard moving. You don't have to think anymore.
Yep.
So
That's right.
we got to Darmstadt. I'm very happy. Sebastian gave us an opportunity to train on our own, or with them, and it was completely different gameplay. Completely different. So we learned a lot of moving, and that's just do crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
And I think anybody listening to this, can take that as advice. It is certainly accurate that you don't get any better if you don't play in different environments.
You have to risk to lose.
Yes, that's always true.
And now you guys get to go back to Germany with all this experience, and hopefully this will help you guys grow the scene there a bit, because now you've got this wider idea of what
we got a good scene in Germany. Indeed, we got a good scene, but it's like really resistant to the Space Marines, and I really like this mod. I think it's really the best mod in Laser Force.
We agree.
And but the other teams there, we did for the next season LFL. We voted for Space Marines and LFL modes. So there was 1 team for Space Marines, 10 teams for the LFL mode. So you see where the direction are. There are 3 things the people don't like in Space Marines. First time, you don't play your 15 minutes if you are not that good, so you can go out before your game. I pay this money for so many games, and if I'm not able to do it, I will pay and don't play. So that's one thing. The other things, if you want to train Space Marines, you really need like 8 people, minimum 6, and the most teams are just 5 people, maybe 6. We are lucky that we are really good, great team with many people. We are like 14 guys and girls there in Darmstadt with 3 different teams, but many other teams just got so many problems. So we all have to, in the LFL mode, we have to switch dates for the tournament because they were we don't got enough people to play there. And that's also a problem that you can't train this so good with your low on people there. So,
it's expensive, pretty expensive.
Yeah. That is definitely one of the barriers to entry that you do run into with this game type as well.
Yes, exactly.
Since a proper team is 6 people, you really need like 10 people for a minimum of
normally
5 on 5.
Normally 10,
and you prefer to have 6 on 6 so you can get an actual game. But
yes, exactly.
It's that is always the age-old challenge, is getting the numbers to do the things.
Yes, exactly, and that's also a problem. So it's not. I hope there will be more acceptance for Space Marines in future, but we will see. We have to work out for a few things there and try to motivate the people, because like I said, we Germans are very resistant to new things. Everything that comes new is like, oh no, don't take that. Let's stay at the old things.
That's no worries. Well, guys, I do want to say thank you very much for sitting down with me for this very special episode of the Resupply podcast with no DK and no Steve-O, so they can't do their usual bullshit lines at the end of the thing. So I've been Than. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and always remember to buy travel insurance, kids.